Alright, so imagine going through your day at school or work when nature calls. You go into the restroom and a stranger calls out to you, "Hey, get out! You're not welcome here, you freak." This is a common fear that transgender individuals have, using daily routines such as trying to use the restroom. Fear should not be a common experience for people trying to do something that every human being needs to do. I would like for you all to allow me to use the restroom that is consistent with my identity. I'm going to discuss why this has become a problem, the causes of this issue, and what we can do to solve it. There are many reasons why this has become an issue, from discomfort between people to actual health issues. In an article written for Time.com by Katie Steinmetz on July 28, 2015, titled "Everything You Need to Know About the Debate Over Transgender People in Bathrooms," bathroom policies affect transgender people in serious ways. She writes that these policies make transgender people feel quarantined if they feel forced to use a unisex bathroom, making them feel that they do not belong or they're not welcome in any facility. The article includes a study from UCLA where 70% of trans people have experienced verbal harassment in situations involving gender-segregated bathrooms. Not long after coming out as transgender, I went into the men's restroom here at COD, but I experienced some unfriendly encounters with students, including some not so nice choice of vocabulary, I guess would be the best way to put it. Due to that experience, there was an entire semester here where I parked out by these soccer fields because there is a porta potty out there that I would know I would not be judged for using. On June 26, 2013, Zach Ford wrote an article for thinkprogress.org titled "Study, Transgender People Experience Discrimination Trying to Use Bathrooms," which was, not surprisingly, a study about just that. It was done in Washington, D.C. area to see if transgender people were experiencing discrimination or harassment when trying to use a public restroom. They discovered again that 70% of transgender individuals had experienced some sort of negative reaction when trying to use a bathroom. Primarily verbal harassment was reported. Being told they were in the wrong facility, told to leave the facility, questioned about their gender, ridiculed, made fun of, or sometimes even verbally threatened. Some had shared that the police were called, and others were noted that they were even followed when exiting the facility. 9% of the respondents reported actual physical assault, including being forcibly removed from the facility, intimidated, cornered, hit, kicked, slapped, and one report of actual sexual assault. The same article mentions health consequences from the respondents. 54%, so over half, have reported physical complications, including UTIs, kidney infections, severe and moderate dehydration, and other kidney problems simply from tactics used to try and avoid using the restrooms throughout the day. It's not just an issue of being uncomfortable around people in the public bathrooms now. It's an actual health issue. So, now that we've segregated the problems, let's move into the causes of these issues. Many people were worried that transgender individuals are just cisgendered people who cross-dress in order to spy on the opposite gender or assault them in bathrooms. Assaults are already happening in bathrooms because they are closed places where people tend to be vulnerable in the first place. MediaMatters.org has an article written by Rachel Persley on January 12, 2016, titled "Florida Experts Debunk the Transgender Bathroom Predator Myth," where she discusses conversations between the website's investigators and governments and law enforcement from different counties in the state of Florida. So Atlantic Beach, for example, has prohibited LGBT discrimination since 2014. They had not had any reports of people pretending to be transgender in order to go assault people in bathrooms. Broward County prohibited discrimination since 2008, and again, seen any increase in assaults. In Dunedin, Florida, no reports. Gulfport, no reports. Gainesville, Orlando, Palm Beach, Orange County, again, no reports of any of this happening. No increase in assaults, no people pretending to be transgender to assault people. The site also did studies with 16 other states with similar non-discrimination laws, including Texas, Oregon, Nevada, Connecticut, and have all found the same data. No increase in assaults for people pretending to be transgender. That myth is just absolutely false. It's not a thing that's happening. Catherine Ripley wrote an article for HuffingtonPost.com on November 11th, 2015, titled, "Why Are Bathrooms Segregated by Sex in the First Place?" In her article, Ripley discusses that the main reason that we have segregated bathrooms is just to preserve social order. So men go to the men's room and women go to the women's room and no one bats an eye. An article titled, "Get Ready for the Conservative Assault on Where Transgender Americans Pee," was written for MotherJones.com by Sam Brody on March 9th, 2015. And that discusses bills that are attempting to be passed in certain states that won't allow transgender individuals to enter restrooms or locker rooms that are consistent with their gender identity. One bill for Texas, for example, states that a person entering a public restroom, shower, or changing room for the sex different than the gender established by the individual's chromosomes faces a misdemeanor, up to a year in jail, and a fine up to $4,000 for trying to use a bathroom. Managers, superintendents, and other authorities who permit said bathroom entrance could be charged with a felony, minimum 180 days in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 for letting somebody use the bathroom. Problems for using the bathroom and causes for these issues have now been brought up, so now we can discuss solutions about this disgrace. This is where you can help. People are being harassed every day in restrooms. So small scale, day to day, you can help stop discrimination by speaking up, protecting people. So if you're a woman in the women's restroom and you see a trans woman getting bullied, and if they're asking her to leave, ask her to stay. You know, tell her that she's welcome, make her feel safe. She's a human being too, who needs to pee, and who's fighting her own day-to-day battle outside of the restroom. So this woman could be your little sister, she could be your friend, she could be your cousin, or even your teacher. These are people close to you that you may not even realize. Same goes for guys. Guys, just stick up for other guys. Same thing. Laws have been passing in counties and cities to allow people to use the restroom that they identify with. According to the Equality Illinois website, which has an unknown author and was updated this year on their page, Transgender Issues the Facts. As a general rule, you can use the restroom consistent with your gender identity, which is helpful because it allows people not to feel that they're not specifically part of the transgender community, but instead part of the Illinois community. Other people too. Laws have also passed to make more gender-neutral restrooms that can help people feel more comfortable. To my knowledge, after I chatted with Jamie on the COD website, because you can do the little chat thing, she informed me that we do have a few gender-neutral restrooms in the college. There's one at the medical station, there's one in the HSC by the dental office, and they're even going to be changing signs to have one in the big building. So that is 3 or 4 bathrooms in the entire college. Where if you go down any row, you're going to see 2 different bathrooms with possible harassment from people like me just trying to go pee. But don't worry, we have 3 bathrooms in the school. We could have more. There should be more gender-neutral bathrooms. Know Your Rights, Transgender People in Law was a Q&A on the American Civil Liberties Union website with no clear author or date. The question asked was about laws protecting transgender people using bathrooms consistent with their identity. The ACLU answered that in cities such as Austin and Philadelphia, have local laws labeling single stalls as unisex. While this can be a useful step in addressing the concerns of the transgender community, the ACLU believes that we shouldn't be restricted in only using gender-neutral bathrooms. On April 5th, 2016, an article called SF Passes Legislation Requiring All Gender Restrooms in City Buildings and Businesses was written for transgenderlawcenter.org by an administrative member of the site that was basically discussing just that. San Francisco unanimously passed legislation that designates single-user restrooms in all of San Francisco as all gender throughout the entire city. That would be helpful in certain cases, again, makes us feel restricted. We shouldn't have different restrooms just based on how we identify. We shouldn't have different facilities based on how we identify, and we shouldn't have different, the same way we shouldn't have different water fountains like we did in the 1950s. So I've talked about the problems caused by this discrimination and how it was caused and what we can do about it. If we continue to let these bad laws pass, we're gonna have hairy, burly, muscular men in women's restrooms and petite, curvy women in men's restrooms. Don't blame the victims for wanting to be physically vulnerable in an area that is most comfortable to them. Just like situations of rape, you don't blame the girl for dressing scandalously, you blame the guy for attacking her. Just let me pee in peace.